Hello, my name is Nakia. Welcome to my channel, Pursuing God Together. This is part one of the Breaking the Myth series. Today, we will discuss Christianity's origins and early diversity. First, I want to acknowledge that Christianity is often perceived as a white man's religion, meaning it is primarily a Western European religion. Understandably, this perception triggers minority groups. And I know that because I am an African American woman born and raised in Alabama. I had to wrestle with this idea before I truly gave my life to Christ and not just bought into it because my family was also Christian. I often wondered if I'm falling into a cult like indoctrination that was used to keep slaves submissive, or if this Christianity thing was real. So, with this episode, I'd like to emphasize why it is important to look at the historical and biblical evidence to understand Christianity's origin and early spread. I will use the scriptures, of course, and historical evidence to uncover the truths, which is that Christianity has roots that are Middle Eastern, African, and multi ethnic, and that is from the very start. And despite what I say, I still encourage you to do your own research. In the meantime, let's get started. Let's discuss the Jewish roots of Christianity. Christianity begins with Judaism. Jesus, the apostles, and the first Christians were Jewish people living in first century Israel, a Middle Eastern land under Roman occupation, not in Europe. The genealogy of Jesus laid out in Matthew chapter 1, verses 1 through 17, anchors him firmly within the Jewish tradition. John chapter 4, verse 22 records Jesus telling the Samaritan woman at the well, "Salvation is from the Jews." This means that Christianity emerged as the fulfillment of the hope of Jewish people for a Messiah. Now, early Christians movement spread beyond Europe. Let's talk a little about that. So after Jesus' resurrection, the gospel spread quickly beyond Jewish communities into the broader surrounding regions of the Middle East, Africa, and eventually Europe. Acts chapter 2, verses 5 through 11 describes Pentecost, where people from every nation under heaven, including regions corresponding to today's Middle East and North Africa, such as Egypt and Libya, heard the gospel in their own languages. Acts chapter 8, verses 26 through 40 records the story of Philip, an Ethiopian eunuch. The Ethiopian official, a powerful man from the royal court of Africa, becomes one of the first non-Jewish converts to Christianity. Okay, let's get into the presence of early Christianity centers in Africa. So by the end of the first few centuries, Christianity had a strong foothold in Egypt, Ethiopia, Nubia, which is Sudan, and across North Africa, long before it established roots in much of Europe. The city of Alexandria in Egypt became a major hub for Christian thought. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church traces its foundation back to the book of Acts. And then there's historical figures like Tertullian from Carthage, which is modern Tunisia, known as the father of Latin Christianity, coined the term Trinity. And then there's Augustine, Bishop of Hippo, which is in North Africa, one of the most influential theologians in Christian history, and they both were African men. So I say all of this to say that Christianity is not a European invention. It began in the Middle East among Jewish people and spread early into the African, Asian, and other countries and continents and beyond. Before it reached Northern Europe, it flourished among people of color in Africa and the Middle East since its inception. Revelation chapter 7, verse 9 paints the final picture. People from every nation, tribe, and language worshiping Jesus. So that is the end goal. And that's how it started, that everyone would be included in the kingdom of God. I hope this information helped, and I hope it encouraged you to still do your own research in the Bible and historical content. In the meantime, Please like, share, and subscribe. See you around for part 2.